We've made it. It's the semester final. It's it. This is all she wrote. You do this test and semester 1 is gone. Today I am going to talk about the entire test. I'm talking questions 1 through 53, and you got that right. 53. It's a big boy. Oh, here we go. Section 1 is a series of multiple choice questions that go all the way up to question 22. Okay? All multiple choice. Easy money because all the stuff you've heard before. Like, I know there's going to be people out there, Mr. Snow, is the first question about the cotton gin? Probably. Okay? But here's some other questions you need to know. Which president was elected that caused the southern states to go bye-bye? You should know that by now. It's the one with the top hat, you know? The dude that, tall, skinny, 13th Amendment, Emancipation Proclamation, all that good stuff. Abraham Lincoln. You also have the first battle of the Civil War. First battle to start it all off. It's not going to be Gettysburg. I'll tell you that right now. Because Gettysburg happens in the middle, okay? It's going to be Fort Sumter. You got to know that stuff. I mean, this is easy stuff, right? You need to know that the act that caused Bleeding Kansas, if you don't know that by now, it breaks my heart a little bit. But the act that caused Bleeding Kansas, know that. You need to know what discovery was made that made death by infection less likely in the Civil War. It wasn't anesthetic. It wasn't penicillin. It was the bromine. You need to know that. You need to know that new innovation in guns, the mini ball. Remember how it had a spiral to it, and it also had those little grooves in it. More and more infection caused by that. You need to know all 3 of the logistical advantages the North had. All 3. 1, 2, 3. You need to know them all. Make sure you know those. You need to know the difference between the 13th Amendment and the Emancipation Proclamation. So the Emancipation Proclamation ended slavery just in the South, just in the Confederacy. 13th Amendment ended slavery everywhere. That's at the federal level, so that's everywhere. You need to know who demonstrated total war. Remember, we had that guy named Sherman. He went through all the way through Georgia. He went from Atlanta to Savannah, taking stuff, burning stuff, destroying stuff as he went. Total war, all about him. You need to know who signed the surrender, okay, for the Confederacy. And that was a Robert E. Lee. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm done, guys. We fought a good fight, and I'm out of here. You need to know why Mr. Andrew Johnson became president. You also need to know how Andrew Johnson got impeached. So he becomes president. Lincoln gets shot, assassinated. He's the vice president. Boom, he's in. Then he gets impeached because Congress passes this law that says, hey, Johnson, you can't fire anybody unless we give you approval. And that law was the Tenure of Office Act. And then he goes against the law, first president to be impeached. You need to know a bunch of stuff about Reconstruction. There's going to be a section on this later, but you need to know about the organization that grew in the South that was racist and still is organized today. It still exists today, the KKK. You need to know about the other things in the Reconstruction we'll get to in a minute. Let's get to some Gilded Age stuff. There's going to be 2 sections of Gilded Age. One in this first section of multiple choice, and there's going to be a whole section after that about Gilded Age. We'll get to that in a minute. But you need to know who's the oil guy. That's Rockefeller. Who's the steel guy? That's Andrew Carnegie. You need to know who's the alternating current. That's Nikola Tesla. And you need to know who the direct current guy is, and that's Thomas Edison. So all those you do need to know for this test. You need to know a little bit about who came over because of the potato famine, who came over had the stereotype of being alcoholics even though they weren't, who had the stereotype of being violent but they weren't. You need to know all of those different stereotypes and all those different people. You need to know who was for and against immigration. So you remember Emma Lazarus was for immigration. You had Prescott Hall was against immigration. So back to Reconstruction, you know about how black codes and sharecropping, both of them, sharecropping and black codes, kept former slaves from truly being free. You need to know which war gave us Hawaii, Spanish-American War. And you should be able to put, this is the next question. This is after those first 22 multiple choice questions. The next question is you're putting stuff in order from when they happen, first, second, third, and fourth, okay? I'm giving you 4, 5, 6, whatever. I'm giving you a set of historical events, and you got to put them in order. So if I gave you Civil War, Reconstruction, Bleeding Kansas, Spanish-American War, you should be able to tell me which one of those happened first, second, third, fourth. So Bleeding Kansas happened first. Civil War happened next. Reconstruction, which involved black codes and sharecropping, all that stuff, happened third. Spanish American War happened last. If I throw Gilded Age in there, you should know Gilded Age goes after Reconstruction, before Spanish American War. Okay? So you need to know all those little things. The next section is all about immigration. And there's 2 matching sections for immigrations. Questions 27 through 31 is a matching section for all the different immigrant groups again. So Irish, German, Italian, Japanese, Chinese. So Italians, they were seen as criminals. German immigrants were seen as alcoholics. These weren't true. These were stereotypes. It was a reputation they didn't earn, but they were given. The Chinese came over for gold rush, but they also built railroads from the East Coast to the West Coast. They gave us the Transatlantic Railroad. The Japanese also came over for the gold rush, but most of them settled in Hawaii and became farmers. And back to the Irish, they came over because of the potato famine and religious freedom and all this other stuff. The second matching section for immigration deals with the 2 islands and the 2 sections of the boat that you would take to get here. So steerage and cabin. Steerage is where the majority of people would actually be on the boat when they would come immigrate over here. That was where the poor people would be. Cabin is where the rich people would be, and that'd be less people. Think of the Titanic, if you know that movie, okay? So Rose and her fiance would be in the cabin, and Jack and his friends were in the steerage. Then you have Angel Island and you have Ellis Island. Ellis E for East. Ellis E for East. It's on the East Coast. It's New York, right? And then you have Angel Island West, and that's where people from Asia would come over here. The next matching section, questions 36 through 41, is going to be all about Gilded Age people I haven't talked about yet. So Cornelius Vanderbilt, Henry Ford, J.P. Morgan, Henry Frick. So let's go through these. Cornelius Vanderbilt built the railroads, choo-choo, right? He stopped that railroad going to New York, right? The Henry Ford, he built the Model T. He paid his workers a livable wage. He and perfected the assembly line. All stuff about Henry Ford. J.P. Morgan invested in Thomas Edison. He bailed out the country from a depression. He was an investment banker. And Henry Frick shot and stabbed Johnstown flood. He also was responsible for the Pinkertons coming in and shooting all the different people for trying to strike. The next section is World War I. And World War I is going to have a whole bunch of stuff. So it's going to have the stuff that we just talked about. Why did Adolf Hitler join the war? This is going to be the easy section. Most of you guys are going to just go right past this. What was Adolf Hitler's job in World War I? What singular event caused America to join the war? Well, why did Churchill lose his job? What job did Mussolini have? Germany gave Lenin money to do what? Patton, what did he do to make sure his tanks were secure? Which event led to new rules about fraternization? What financially supported the war? This ended World War I. So just stuff you see, like what was Wilson's plan? Then 53. 53 is going to be special, folks. You're going to just tell a story. A long story about just one section of history. I'm going to give you some options. And you're going to write about it. That is your semester exam. I talked about it in 8 minutes and 30-something seconds. So now, what I need you to do is I need you to study. Next Tuesday, it's happening. Let's go get it. Peace out.